Extraordinary images from Pluto. It is 46 minutes past 8 here in Paris. We're going to have a look now at what's been going on the internet. James Creedon is here for Mediawatch. Good evening, James.
Melissa.
Of course, a great deal of talk about the Greek bailout. A lot of anti-German rhetoric is coming through in particular.
That's right, and even from some Germans themselves. Melissa, one piece that's got a lot of shares online today is a piece in The Guardian by Jürgen Habermas. Now, he's one of the foremost European intellectuals and post-war intellectuals. He says, by threatening Greece with an exit from the Eurozone, Germany has unashamedly revealed itself as Europe's chief disciplinarian and made a claim for German hegemony in Europe. So very critical words from an intellectual figurehead of European integration, in fact. So he sees this as quite damaging for the European project. He says forcing the Greek government into the terms of the bailout, which included a privatisation fund, €50 billion privatisation fund that many see as completely symbolic and unrealistic. He sees this as an act of punishment against a left-wing government. And I think the most interesting comment he made is that this essentially gambles away in just one night all of the political capital that a better Germany built since the Second World War, since the 1950s. Essentially half a century of building a reputation post-war is now perhaps being gambled away because of the way in which Germany's role is being viewed by a lot of Europeans. He does say also in that article, though, Melissa, that a lot of this, it's not just choices that were made in the last number of days in Germany or in the last week in Germany. It's a broader systemic problem of European governance. Without a common financial and economic policy, essentially this political community cannot be sustained. He looks at the European Council, which is, of course, the heads of state that meet, or they had the finance ministers or whatever that meet. He's saying that this is the only political body in any position to act, with any real mandate to act. The other institutions less so. But the problem is that they act essentially, they don't act as one, but in the interests of each individual country. So he says that this is just really an untenable situation, and it explains the stalemate in which Europe finds itself today.
Now, one man in particular, James, has been attracting a good deal of anger, and of course that's Wolfgang Schäuble.
That's right, the finance minister in Germany. And another organisation here that has been commenting on that is the Project for Democratic Union. Now, they call Wolfgang Schäuble the last of the German patriots, but they say that is really the problem here, that he's been acting essentially in German interests. And while this is a political think tank that is in favour of political union across Europe, they see what happened in the last week as very negative. The last week has seen Wolfgang Schäuble drafting a note directed at the Greek government that basically either said leave the Eurozone for now or give up your sovereignty to your creditors. This changed the political climate in Europe for the worse. It has been poisoned by the rhetoric of us against them when it should be we together. And they say Schäuble has done his part really to contribute to this problem. Under the Schäuble regime, the Eurozone is no union. It is a creditor-debtor relationship. So a lot of people really lamenting the lack of solidarity and union within the Eurogroup in terms of the way this has been dealt with.
As a result of all that, James, the hashtag boycott Germany is now trending.
That's right, with some people trying to really give steam to that, others criticising it as an unethical hashtag. Can we live without German products? Yes, we can. Boycott Germany. And you can see there essentially people putting up even the barcode numbers in a bid to get Europeans to boycott German products, which seems like quite an extreme measure. Others saying get Germany to repay debt cancelled in 1953 with interest. We must boycott Germany until they do. This is a German Twitter user saying, well, boycott Germany, will that include the billions that we're going to pump into Greece as part of Germany's contribution to the bailouts? Others saying boycott Germany, and see, I think that picture says it all, perhaps quite an unfair image, but contrasting, I suppose, the high-tech nature of many Greek products with, I suppose, the state of the Greek economy at the moment. Others saying, don't boycott Germany. It will only hurt the German people who have their own struggles. So that debate playing out online, Melissa.
And finally, a couple of cartoonists weighing in, James.
That's right, trying to sum it all up with images. You have a handshake here between one hand illustrating the European Union, the other Greece. That, of course, the deal that was struck very painfully last weekend, and you can see there in the middle of that pincer is, I suppose, the Greek population caught in the middle of all of that. And I think this is another illustration that depicts the same issue, a sort of a catch-22, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Greece surrounded by sharks, I suppose, is symbolising its economic woes. And then the bailout, which is perhaps very much a double-edged sword in itself.